All right, today we're going to talk about Eagle Disc Golf Course in Olpe, Kansas, out at Olpe Lake, the newest addition to the glass-blown open courses. Very challenging course. Hole number 1 is a 360-foot par 3 island hole. When the wind is up, this hole is going to be very, very difficult. The basket sets up on top of a little mound where the island makes it a little short behind it. And this, what you can see here, is the drop zone. If you go OB, you must take a stroke penalty and throw from the drop zone. As soon as you get on the island, it can be a pretty difficult little putt there. You can see how close the OB is just behind the basket. Getting a 3 on this hole to start your round, nothing wrong with that. Most players are going to be pretty thrilled taking a 3 on this first hole. Hole number 2 is a 310-foot downhill, somewhat of an island. You must clear the road. It's a very unique style of hole. Nice hanging basket. You can tell it's going to sway just a little bit if the wind is up. Keeping in mind this day, the wind was really up. 480-foot par 4 for hole number 3. This is my favorite hole on the course. OB all down the right side. You can see the orange flags. There's OB road down the left and a nice gap off the tee. And right here you can see just in front of me, just short of the basket, there's a little ditch with some water in it. So it makes for a nice little island hole. I just threw a trespass on a straight line, get up there, have a nice approach into the green for my birdie 3. Such a beautiful hole. Moving on to hole number 4, 510-foot uphill, par 4, OB all down the right side, the cables, and then over this dam you can see on the left here that I just hit is the lake. And all of this should be grass growing by the glass blown, and that's going to create a little bit more difficulty if you're on the side of that hill. But for the most part, what's really going to get you on this hole is how deceiving the approach is. Here I thought I was relatively close through the approach, and I ended up being quite a bit short, but ended up making my putt for the birdie 3, which is great. But just keeping in mind when you're playing this hole, the approach, the shot is a little further than you think. Hole number 5 is where the water really starts to come into play. It's a 330-foot par 3, and it sits out on this rock peninsula, and everything you see rock-wise is safe. A lot of people were concerned that their discs are going to get scraped up, but we've played a dozen rounds out here, so and nothing has scraped up discs by any means. So it's a relatively easy shot unless the wind is really blowing. Should be a pretty easy birdie for you. Hole number 6, 550-foot par 4. Off the tee, you really just want to throw like big power hyzer around the tree here in front of you just to give yourself a nice look at the basket. The OB line right behind it is relatively close, probably about 20 foot. There's a fence back there. But other than that, there's a little OB to the left, but nothing really of much concern. Relatively easy par 4. Hole 7 is one of the signature holes on the course. 230-foot par 3, tight gap, like nothing we have around here for the glass-blown open courses. One of the better shots, if you've got a forehand, which I don't, which you're about to see here, is just straight down this gap I'm trying to hit, just to the right side of that tree. I almost hit the line, but I caught the tree and kicked left. But that shot right there, it leaves for a relatively easy approach for your 3. But if I would have just missed that tree on the hyzer line, it would have been skipping up toward the basket for a birdie. Pretty cool little backdrop here on the hole as well. All right, hole number 8 is a 740-foot par 4. Pretty difficult one. OB all down the right side. The tree you can see right in the middle of the fairway that I'm going to hit right there. It's a little memorial, and all of that is OB as well. And if you go in there, you go to a drop zone with a stroke penalty. OB all down the left side as well. There's OB behind the basket. Makes this hole really tight when you're throwing your approaches into the green. Difficult par 4. If you get your 3 on this hole, you really feel like you've earned it. It's pretty difficult. The OB line behind it is relatively close to the basket. So you just want to keep that in mind when you're throwing your approaches into this green. Hole 9, 370 foot. It's a par 3. This shot is more of a placement shot. OB's all down the right side. You can see the flags. And OB creek all down the left side. What I like to do on this hole is just throw a big turnover S shot out in the middle of the fairway and give myself a nice look at the green to get up and down for a pretty easy 3 on this hole. It is a par 3. It plays a little bit harder than a par 3. You probably won't see too many deuces on this hole, but it should be a pretty easy 3 for you. Moving on to hole number 10, 300-foot par 3. Probably one of the easiest holes on the course. Just a slight little turnover. Everything left is okay. You're just kind of in the tree line. And everything right is similar. There's some thick woods on the right that if you get caught up in it, it could be a struggle. But for the most part, you should probably be getting a deuce on this hole, throwing it up there nice and close. All right, hole number 11 is a 500-foot par 3. Coming out of the gap, you just want to throw something nice and straight. You don't have to get too much power off this tee because there is OB left. There's a really tight OB line down the right side, and the basket sits on a peninsula. So the shot is just throw something nice and easy, fairway driver, a big mid-range down the middle, and then throw your approach into this green, and should be pretty easy 3, assuming your tee shot is clean. Hole number 12 is another signature hole on the course. 800-foot par 5. Very challenging hole. Fence all down the right side is out of bounds. There's an OB line all down the left side as well. I'm just trying to throw something down to the middle of the fairway and then throw an approach up to the edge of the OB to have a look at the postage stamp size green. Very small green. If you miss OB going for the green, you go to the drop zone you can see just in front of me. This will be full of water at some point, maybe not by GBO, but at some point we'll see water down in this. And the fence line on the right side is also out of bounds, making a 4 on this hole pretty spectacular, especially if there's any kind of wind blowing for the GBO. Hole 13, 250 feet, par 3. This hole can be daunting at times. For me, I like to play the hole for an easy 3. You can go for the 2, but if you happen to go in the creek, you're going to be thrown from the drop zone, just like this player right here. And that doesn't make it a very easy hole. You can tell how close the OB is on the hole. It's, in my opinion, a bonus deuce. Hole 14, 730 feet, par 4. This one can be difficult as well. You've got a placement shot. You want to throw about 320 off the tee here. And then you've got a corner fence that runs down and back that's out of bounds. And you really need to rip on this and hang it out further right than you think. I didn't quite hang this shot out as far right as I wanted and was really flirting with the OB on the left side of the fairway. This par 4 is very difficult. It could almost be played as a par 5, but it is definitely 3-able if you got your power game on. Hole 15, 540-foot par 3. This tee shot can be daunting as well. You just want to hang it out over the right side of the fence you can see there that's OB, but not get too much skip to the left side to where you're in trouble from these trees you can see. In the approach, relatively easy approach, minus the OB on the left side. You can hang it out to the right a little bit more. This one, it was a very windy day, so the shots were a little bit more difficult than hopefully they will be for you at GBO. But this approach by Dixon made a great putt right there for his 4 on this very difficult hole. Hole 16, 610-foot par 4. Probably the tee shot is one of the most important shots on this. You really need to get it down the fairway about 300 feet and stay as far away from that OB line there on the right as you possibly can. And the OB is pretty close to it down the left side and long as well. Coming down the stretch, this is a hole you're probably going to want to get your 3 on moving into 17. 17 is 375-foot par 3. There's a nice little road on the right side that's OB. You want to play it. Dixon had a really good shot here. Just want to be on the left side to give yourself an open look at your potential birdie putt. If you get anywhere close to those trees there on the right side, it makes for a very difficult low ceiling putt that is almost impossible to get it high enough to get in the basket. All right, hole number 18 is 310-foot par 3 island hole. Very challenging hole. I'm throwing an EMAC Truth. The basket sits somewhere in the middle of the green here on the rocks. You just want to play a nice little skip shot right up to the basket and hopefully get your 2 to finish your round.